Translation. They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust.
Jie sako, kad šis pasaulis nerealus, kad jis neturi jokio pagrindo ir joks dievas jo nevaldo. Jie sako, kad pasaulį pagimdė lytinis troškimas ir kad geismas vienintelė šio pasaulio priežastis.
They say that this world is unreal, with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Purport. The demoniac conclude that the world is phantasmagoria. There is no cause and effect, no controller, no purpose. Everything is unreal. They say that this cosmic manifestation arises due to chance material actions and reactions. They do not think that the world was created by God for a certain purpose. They have their own theory that the world has come about in its own way and that there is no reason to believe that there is a God behind it. For them there is no difference between spirit and matter, and they do not accept the Supreme Spirit. Everything is matter only, and the whole cosmos is supposed to be a mass of ignorance. According to them, everything is void, and whatever manifestation exists is due to our ignorance and perception. They take it for granted that all manifestation of diversity is a display of ignorance. Just as in a dream we may create so many things which actually have no existence, so when we are awake we shall see that everything is simply a dream. But factually, although the demons say that life is a dream, they are very expert in enjoying this dream. And so instead of acquiring knowledge, they become more and more implicated in their dreamland. They conclude that as a child is simply the result of sexual intercourse between man and woman. This world is born without any soul. For them it is only a combination of matter that has produced the living entities, and there is no question of the existence of the soul. As many living creatures come out from perspiration and from a dead body without any cause, the whole living world has come out of the material combinations of the cosmic manifestation. Therefore, material nature is the cause of this manifestation, and there is no other cause. They do not believe in the words of Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Under my direction, the whole material world is moving. In other words, among the demons, there is no perfect knowledge of the creation of the world. Every one of them has some particular theory of his own. According to them, one interpretation of the scriptures is as good as another, for they do not believe in a standard understanding of the scriptural injunctions.
Komentaras. Demonai mano, kad pasaulis yra fantasmagorija. Nėra jokios priežasties, jokios pasekmės, jokio valdovo, jokio tikslo, viskas nerealu. Jie tvirtina, kad kosmoso reiškinyje atsiranda atsitiktinai, kaip materijos pradmenų sąveikos rezultatas, ir netiki, kad pasaulį sukūrė Dievas tam tikram tikslui. Demonai turi savo teoriją. Pasaulis atsirado pats savaime ir nėra jokio pagrindo manyti, kad už jo egzistuoja Dievas. Jie nemato skirtumo tarp dvasios ir materijos ir nepripažįsta aukščiausios dvasios. Viskas yra materija, o kosmosas tai tamsybės sankaupa. Anot jų viskas tuštuma ir bet koks daiktas tai mūsų netobulo patyrimo padarinys. Jie laiko savaime suprantama, jog bet kokia įvairovė yra neišmanimo požymis. Viskas yra tarsi sapnas. Miegodami susapnuojame visokiausių neegzistuojančių dalykų, o kai nubundame matome, kad visa tai tik sapnas. Ir nors demonai sako, kad gyvenimas sapnas, tačiau kaip tyčia iš to sapno moka puikiausiai išgauti kuo daugiau malonumų. Todėl užuot bandę įgyti žinių, jie tampa vis didesniais savo sapnų karalystės vergais. Jie daro tokią išvadą. Kaip vaikas yra vyro ir moters lytinių santykių pasekmė, tai pasaulis atsirado nedalyvaujant jokiai dvasiai. Pasaulis jiems tik materijos pradmenų junginys, davęs pradžią gyvoms esybėms, todėl apie jokį sielos buvimą negali būti ir kalbos. Kaip daugelis gyvų būtybių be jokios priežasties atsiranda su prakaitu ar iš lavono, taip ir iš materialių kosmoso reiškinio struktūrų atsirado visas gyvasis pasaulis. Todėl materiali gamta yra vienintelė šios reiškinijos priežastis ir esą jokios kitos priežasties nėra. Demonai netiki Krišnos žodžiais pasakytais pagal Gitoje. Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Visas materialus pasaulis juda mano nurodymu. Kitaip sakant, demonai tobulų žinių apie pasaulio sukūrimą neturi. Kiekvienas jų vadovaujasi savo teoriją. Pasak demonų, visos šventraščių interpretacijos vienodai geros, mat jie netiki, kad yra vieninga ir autoritetinga šventraščių samprata.
They say, who says?
Jie sako, kas tai?
This chapter is describing the divine and demoniac nature.
Šis skyrius aprašo dievišką ir demonišką prigimtį.
And actually most of this chapter is describing the demoniac nature.
Didžioji dalis šito skyriaus būtent aiškina demonišką.
So demoniac people claim
Demoniški žmonės sako,
that there is no God in control, no ultimate truth, no foundation to anything.
kad nėra jokio dievo, kuris kontroliuoja, nėra jokios absoliučios tiesos, jokio pagrindo.
Sometimes people think they're being very modern and fashionable by being atheistic.
Kartais žmonės netgi galvoja, kad jie labai modernus ir madingi, būdami ateistiški.
But we see that the atheistic trend is described here by Lord Krishna 5,000 years ago.
Bet matome, kad jau čionai prieš 5000 metų Viešpats Krišna paaiškina demonišką požiūrį.
And actually it's an inherent trait in the conditioned souls, especially those who are particularly possessed of the demoniac nature.
Ir tiesą sakant, tai yra paveldėtas savybės kiekvienoj sąlygotai sielai, ypač tos, kurios yra ateistiškos.
Apart from atheists, what we can call semi-theists.
Nežiūrint į ateistus, dar yra tokie, kaip galėtume pavadintis pusiau ateistais.
Or persons who accept that there's God, but they're not very interested to know how He is the ultimate reality and the basis of everything.
Tai yra žmonės, kurie lygiai priima, kad Dievas yra, bet visiškai nenori sužinoti apie jį, kaip jis yra visa ko šaltinis ir realybė.
Or due to lack of knowledge of Him, they simply speculate about His nature.
Arba neturėdami pakankamai žinių apie jį, paprasčiausiai spėlioja apie jo prigimtį.
As Srila Prabhupada often said, it's not enough to accept that there is God and to say that He is great, but one should know how He is great.
Prabhupada dažnai sakydavo, neužtenka vien tik žinoti, kad yra Dievas ir kad jis didis. Reikia žinoti, kaip jis didis, koks didis.
Otherwise, if we simply say God is great,
Kitu atveju, jeigu tik sakysim Dievas didis,
but we don't really have any idea how He's great,
bet nesuprasim, kaip,
then our idea of His greatness will be incomplete and imperfect.
tai mūsų visa šita mintis ir supratimas apie jo didybę bus netobula.
And thus not actually pertaining to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is complete and perfect.
Ir iš tikrųjų, jinai, kadangi nebus tobula, jinai ir neaprašys, neapims Viešpaties, kuris ir yra tobulas ir absoliutus.
So the theistic traditions of the world, they mostly describe God as the creator of this world.
Ir teistinės pasaulio, teistiniai mokslai, jie aprašo Dievą kaip pasaulio kūrėją.
All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all creatures wise and wonderful, the good Lord made them all. Something I remember from my school days. All things bright and beautiful,
Visi daiktai šviesus ir gražus,
all creatures great and small,
visus, reiškia, gyvūnus, tiek didelius, tiek mažus,
all things wise and wonderful,
visus dalykus išmintingus ir nuostabius,
the good Lord made them all.
gerasis Viešpats juos visus sukūrė.
So who made the snakes and the stool?
Kas tada sukūrė gyvatės ir išmetė?
I guess they ascribe that to Satan. Another silly idea.
Priskiriama šėtonui.
Another silly idea?
Tai tokia kvailota mintis. Kita kvailota mintis.
So then they're not interested to hear about the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Kad troškimas girdėti apie, arba noras girdėti apie aukščiausią Viešpatį.
And they often actually become inimical when we supply description, or when we propose to describe Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Ir jie nenori klausyti apie aukščiausią Viešpatį ir dažnai netgi pyksta, kai mes Krishną pristatom kaip aukščiausią asmenį.
So are such persons divine or demoniac?
Ir tokie žmonės, ar jie dieviški ar demoniški?
They may be out every day preaching to believe in God,
Jie gali net eiti kiekvieną dieną pamokslauti apie tikėjimą į Dievą.
but when we speak of Krishna, they become angry.
Bet kai tik pradedam kalbėti apie Krishną, jie supyksta.
And so we can only conclude that they're not real theists.
Ir dėl to galime paprasčiausiai padaryti išvadą, kad jie nėra tikri teistai.
A real theist should be happy to hear of Krishna.
tikras teistas jis turėtų būti laimingas girdėdamas apie Krishną.
Jarasandha was present in the world when Krishna was present 5,000 years ago.
Jarasandha tuo metu kaip ir Krishna prieš 5000 metų buvo žemėje.
And he worshipped Vishnu.
Jis garbino Vishnu.
And he was always trying to kill Krishna. He worshipped the deity of Vishnu or Shalagram. But he hated Krishna. So what is the meaning of his worshipping Vishnu? He didn't accept that Krishna is Satyam. He is the truth. He is Pratishta. He is the foundation of everything. He is Ishvara. He is the controller of everything. So this demoniac atheistic tendency is inherent in every conditioned soul, actually. Those who are of divine nature, they don't come to this material world. Those who are adopting the divine nature, they are described in the beginning of this chapter as having the divine nature. Or some, like Arjuna, they come to this world, they're always possessed of the divine nature. Mashucha sampadam daivim apijatasya bharata. Krishna told Arjuna, don't worry, you have the divine qualities, you're born with them. But we have come to this material world forgetting Krishna. And therefore we invent so many philosophies to justify our forgetfulness of Krishna. Can I get a tissue paper? Tissue paper? Yeah. So, and here Lord Krishna, he summarizes a wide field of atheistic ideas. There are many philosophers, atheistic philosophers, and they're all arguing with each other over how the supreme truth is. There is no supreme truth. That's the problem with their ideas. I especially find ironic and amusing that Buddhists, they say that everything is void, or rather there is no everything. Everything is nothing. It's difficult to describe because as soon as you start to describe it, there's some concept is there, but according to them there's no concept even there's no concept of nothingness. There's just nothing. But there are various schools of Buddhism who traditionally argue with each other over the nature of nothingness. This is absurdity cubed, or raised to the power of 100, if you like. You know what I'm talking about? Cubed means you multiply something by itself and then again by itself. Or raised to the power of 100 means you multiply by itself, by itself, by itself, by itself 100 times. Simple mathematics, right? Everyone studies that at school, but then you forget it because you don't need it. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada, he mentions in a little more detail some of the various strains of atheistic philosophers. philosopher, which is probably not translatable into Lithuanian, is it's a word coined by Srila Prabhupada.
Šitas žodis, kuris verstusi filosofas, tai yra Prabhupadas sugalvotas žodis.
There's another which, unless you know English, you won't get it. But the Sadaputta Prabhu, our scientist godbrother who's now departed this world, he would call the academic scholars squalors.
Sadaputta Prabhu, jis jau kuris paliko pasaulį mokslininkas, jis vadino tos, reiškia lietuviškai tas būtų žodis.
Squalors. Well, I'll explain. Squalor means dirt, poverty, misery, like this. Ignorance. So, of course, it's not possible to, in a few lines, cover all the demoniac philosophies of the world. But we could classify them into two main groups. Pure atheism, which is always impure, but pure in the sense that unmitigated or uncompromised, unmixed. And atheism posing as theism. Of which one strain I just spoke of. Within that there are various strains also. So one I just spoke of. But the one which Krishna himself and which all the acharyas, including Srila Prabhupada, have most opposed is that which we group under the title Mayavad, actually two titles, Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. No, actually Mayavadi. Shunyavadi will come more in the direct atheism category. Yeah, Shunyavad comes more in direct atheism. So, Mayavad, they say, well, there is an absolute truth, and there is a foundation, and there is Ishvara. But they say that the Satya and the Pratishta, the absolute truth and the foundation, has no qualities, no form, no personality, no anything. Just undefined and undefinable spirit. And within Mayavad there is also talk of Ishvara. But they consider Ishvara to be also not the supreme and also a phase of Maya. Of course, there's also a generalization because there are various strains of Mayavad also. But they all come to the same conclusion that there is no ultimate truth, there's no God in control. Although the Mayavadis will say there is a truth, but then they say, well, there's no being to, there's nothing describable about it. So it comes to, it's like saying something like, well, there's a person sitting there, but you can't see him, you can't touch him, taste, it's just, there's someone there, but there's no body. There's no body, there's nothing to see, there's nothing, but there's a person. It's a meaningless statement.
Absoliuti tiesa kaip ir yra, bet ji visiškai yra neapčiuopiama. Nei tai asmenybė, nei matoma, pavyzdžiui, jeigu šalia sėdėtų žmogus, bet jis neturėtų nei kūno, nei nieko, jūs niekaip jo negalėtumėte patirti. Ir toks teiginys absurdiškas.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Vednamanya bodh hoita nastik, Veda shroy nastik yavad bodha ke adik. That the Buddhists, they're atheists because they don't accept the Vedas.
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pareiškia, kad budistai tai yra ateistai, nes jie nepriima Vedų.
But the Mayavadis who purport to accept the Vedas, but they propagate more or less the same ideas, they're worse than the Buddhists.
Bet Mayavadžiai, kurie lyg išoriškai ir priima Vedas, bet panašiai kaip ir budistai kultivuoja ateistinės visas tas tiesas, jie dar blogiau negu budistai.
Because they're pretending to be theists, but they're not.
Nes jie apsimeta, kad yra teistai, bet iš tikrųjų nėra tokie.
Now, the absurdity of these theories should be apparent to anyone.
Visų šitų teorijų absurdiškumas turėtų būti akivaizdus kiekvienam.
But they're not. Most people are enamored by them.
Bet taip nėra. Dauguma žmonių susižavėjo.
Most people are not interested in the truth.
Dauguma žmonių iš tiesą nerūpi.
Most people, it's easy to manipulate them
Ir tokius žmonės, tą daugumą labai lengva valdyti,
by various means.
įvairiais būdais.
Even if someone's more powerful than you, simply by flattery you can manipulate them.
Net jeigu kažkas už jūs ir daug galingesnis, paprasčiausiai tik tai jam, kaip sakant, įtikdamas, jį kažkaip garbindamas, galite jį valdyti.
You find people are very rich and they don't want to give any money for anything, but if you can catch them and just praise them up and down, inside out, and then say, can you give me some money? Or on some plea, they'll be inclined to give it because they feel so much ingratiated. Oh, it praised me. It's so nice.
Pavyzdžiui, turtingi žmonės, kurie nelinkę duoti jokių pinigų niekam, jeigu jūs juos labai gerai kažkokiu būdu pašlovinsit, pagirsite ir kairę į dešinę visai, jie ant tiek bus patenkinti, kad kai jūs paprašysit pinigų, jie iškart bus pasiruošę.
As mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, that flattery is also used for seduction of women.
Kaip Srimad Bhagavatam paaiškina, kad tas būtent toks pataikavimas yra taip pat naudojamas ir moterims.
So if a man says to a woman, you're the most beautiful woman that ever was born,
Ir jeigu vyriškis pasako moteriškai, kad tu pati gražiausia moteris, kokia yra gimus pasaulyje,
which according to probability theory is highly unlikely,
kas pagal tikimybių teoriją yra praktiškai neįmanoma.
but she won't think logically, well, actually this isn't true. She'll think, oh, really? Oh.
Bet negalvos logiškai, kad tai yra neteisinga, galvos, tikrai.
So people are not interested in the truth.
Tai reiškia, kad žmonės
It works the other way also.
nesidomi tiesa. Tai veikia ir iš kitos pusės.
All this business of love, it's just a matter of talking what in English they call sweet nothings.
Visas šitas meilės verslas, biznis, tai kaip Anglijoje vadinamas, būtų, reiškia, toks saldus niekas.
Do you have that in your language also? Similar thing, yeah. It works the other way, means the woman also flatters the man and gets from him what she wants.
Tai reiškia, kad ir moteris taip pat pataikauja vyrui ir gauna iš jo tai, ko nori.
So most people are not interested in truth. They're interested in sense gratification.
Daugumai žmonių tiesa nerūpi jos. Paprasčiausiai domina išliks pasitenkinimas.
So anyway, these theories, they shouldn't appeal to any normal person.
Visos šitos teorijos iš tikrųjų neturėtų trikdyti normalaus žmogaus.
But in the material world, no one is normal. Everyone is crazy.
Bet materialiam pasaulyje nei vienas nėra normalus, visi pamišę.
This is the madhouse.
Tai yra pamišėlių namai.
Devotees, sometimes they say, well, we should be more normal.
Kartais atsidavę sako, turėtume būti šiek tiek normalesni.
But in the madhouse, why it's not a good policy to be normal.
Bet pamišėlių namuose tai tokia nėra gera mąstysena arba politika būti normaliu.
Another reason that these theories they have gained currency is because they're systematically propagated in the educational system.
Kita priežastis, dėl ko visos šitos teorijos gavo tokį pagrindą, tai ta priežastis, kad buvo jos sistematiškai propaguojamos mokyklose.
Do you have religious education compulsory in the school in Lithuania?
Ar turite čia būtiną religinį išsilavinimą mokykloje Lietuvoje?
Not compulsory. Optional.
Turime, bet ne privaloma, bet pasirinktina.
I see. I think in the European Union they wouldn't allow it to be compulsory. It's another humanistic body. Humanistic is it's a euphemism for atheistic. Yeah. Euphemism? You don't have that word? Similar word? No? You know what it means? It means something stated to sound nice, but it's actually not very nice. Something stated in a diplomatic way. Just like if someone's highly eccentric, you might say, well, they're a little unusual. When everyone knows they're completely crazy. Yeah, in this asatyam apratishtam jagat, this is taught in the schools. As if it's taught as if a fact that there was a big bang, and then all of a sudden, here we are sitting in our school. That's compulsory, right? You have to learn that. You're taught as if it's a fact. And even demons like this Stephen Hawking, they write books describing as if they actually understand what's going on. And religious education, that's optional. And it's taught as a theory. Well, some people believe this and some people believe that. Last night after the lectures, some people came to see me and they were saying, well, that's your position. So, that's very nice, you have your position. But I was saying, no, it's not my position, it's not my belief, it's a fact. There is actual truth, and everything else apart from that is flawed, mistaken. So, being good disciples of the Asatyam Apratishtam school, these people were saying, well, no, there's no, you see, there's different traditions and they teach different things, and, it's just what anyone, it's a matter of belief, whatever you believe. So I gave a simple example. Well, certain things, they are axiomatic facts. So for instance, 1 + 1 = 2. If you have one apple and you bring another apple, then you have 2 apples. And as usual, in such cases, they try to argue against this. Well, it might be just your perception and all kinds of nonsense things. So people are indoctrinated in this atheistic theory. But actually no one deeply believes it.
Bet iš tikrųjų ne vienas giliai tom teorijom ir netiki.
That is apparent in the laws of the land.
Ir tai yra akivaizdu valstybės įstatymuose.
That people believe that everyone believes that some things are right and some things are wrong.
Ir kiekvienas žmogus tiki, kad kai kurie dalykai yra geri, kai kurie blogi.
For instance, an atheist, most atheists will think it's wrong to pick up a child and strangle him to death.
Pavyzdžiui, dauguma ateistų galvotų, kad paimti vaiką ir nubausti jį iki mirties, primušti, tai yra blogai.
But actually, if there's no ultimate basis of everything, and if there is, everything is simply a combination of matter, then what difference does it make whether the combination of matter in one particular, which is called a body, is moving and alive, or whether it's dead?
Bet jeigu priimta teorija jų, kad viskas yra tik tai materija, tai koks skirtumas tada, ar tas kūnas judantis, ar jisai gulės negyvas, koks skirtumas, jeigu tik materija.
Actually, it's presumed that Hitler, the most prominent person of the 20th century, we could say, his theories were derived from Darwinism. Darwin. That it's the struggle for the survival and the survival of the fittest. So his theory was, well, we're better, we Germans are better than Poles and Ukrainians, and what to speak of Lithuanians. So, we need to reproduce more, and so get the hell, we're kicking you out. Get out, and we're taking over your country. And there was based on Darwinism, there was a what shall we call it, a practice or a theory which was considered laudable, called eugenics. Eugenics. With the idea is that, well, we should breed people to be the strongest, most intelligent, and like this. And those who are weak and crippled and lame and blind, you can, it's okay to, well, a natural corollary of this theory was that the weak, the lame, the crippled, the blind, they should be sterilized or killed. So Hitler put this into practice. It's well known that he killed many Jews, who he also considered a scourge on the human race. But he also killed or sterilized many Germans who were lame, weak, blind, unintelligent, homosexual. So after World War II, eugenics lost popularity. But anyway, if everything is simply a combination of matter, as the atheists say, then what's the difference between right and wrong? It's only a mental construct without any basis, because there's no basis to anything. So there's no there's no inherent difference in between Hitler and Jesus Christ, just they had different outlooks, that's all.
Ir pagal tą visą mąstyseną, tai tarp Hitlerio ir Jėzaus Kristaus iš esmės kaip ir skirtumo nėra, tik tai skirtinga jų išorė.
Maybe Hitler was more realistic.
Hitleris galbūt realistiškesnis.
But anyway, it's all meaningless anyway, because nothing has any meaning. Asatyam.
Bet kuriuo atveju visą tai neturi prasmės, nes niekas neturi prasmės.
But although some people may profess to such a theory, but they themselves don't follow it.
Bet nors kai kurie žmonės šitą filosofiją ir kaip ir priema, bet jie patys
Because everyone has a sense of what is better and what is worse.
nes kiekvienas turi pojūtį, kas yra gerai, o kas yra blogai.
So even if someone says there's no difference between right and wrong, but still when they get hungry they eat something.
Jeigu kažkas net ir sako, kad nėra skirtumo tarp gero ir blogo, bet kai jie išalksta, jie valgo.
If there's no meaning, then why eat?
Jeigu nėra prasmės, tai
Why do anything?
kam išvis kažką daryti?
Why exist? Just die.
Kam egzistuoti, iškart galime.
And one of the French existentialists, Camus, his idea was that, well, yeah, everything's meaningless. There's no real difference between life and death.
Vienas prancūzų irgi toksai filosofas reiškia Camus, tai jis sakė,
So the only question left is whether to die now or just wait till it happens later.
pasakė, kad gyventi ir mirti viena ir tas pats, todėl klausimas jam liko, ar dabar iš karto, ar dar palauk vėliau.
So he died when his car went off a cliff, and it's suspected that he deliberately drove off.
Ir jis numirė po to, kai jo mašina nuvažiavo nuo skardžio ir įtariama, kad jis tai padarė tyčia.
But why do that? That means he found some meaning in death. He found it more meaningful to deliberately kill himself than not.
Bet kam daryti net ir tai reiškia, kad jis mirtyje rado kažkokią prasmę, tai irgi jau yra prieštarauja filosofijai.
So you can't avoid it. Even if you say everything is meaningless, that's still a statement. It means that you're trying to find some meaning even by a negative definition.
Ir net jeigu pasakoma, kad viskas neturi prasmės, tai jau yra bandymas surasti prasmę, net ir naudojant tokį negatyvų, reiškia, teiginį.
All these negative philosophies, they have the same inbuilt logical fallacy.
Ir visos šitos, reiškia, filosofijos negatyvios, jos ir turi tą tokį netobulumą, kur nesusiriša filosofija.
Just like people, if they say God is indescribable, well, that's also some description.
Kaip žmonės sako, Dievas yra neapsakomas, neaprašomas, bet tai jau yra kažkoks apsakymas.
Or if you say, no, we cannot know anything about God, well, that's a statement about something knowing about Him. We know that we can't know anything, so it's self-defeating.
Arba yra sakoma, kad mes apie Dievą nieko negalime žinoti, bet tai jau yra teiginys, kuris kažką apie Dievą pasako, kad apie Dievą kažką savybėse.
So in the ongoing arguments between theists and atheists, there is what is called the moral argument for the existence of God.
Šitose besidėsiančiose teistų ir ateistų diskusijose yra toksai vienas moralinis Dievo kaip ir įrodymas.
The fact that we perceive that some things are right and some things are wrong suggests that there is a universal principle of rightness and wrongness.
Tai, kad mes suprantam, kad kažkas yra gerai ir blogai, įrodo, kad yra kažkoks bendras visatos principas, teisybės principas.
Which is independent of times, places, circumstances, various civilizations, and so on.
Kuris visiškai nepriklauso nuo skirtingų laikų, vietų, aplinkybių, civilizacijų.
The United Nations Charter of Human Rights is based on that principle. We accept as self-evident facts that all human beings, regardless of race, gender, age, etc., are all equal, which is a bunch of rubbish. Or they have the same equal rights. Which is, as I was saying, that's the very fact that there are these differences means that not everyone, you don't have equal rights.
Bet jau, kad tie visi skirtumai jau yra tarp žmonių, tai jau kaip ir rodo, kad iš tikrųjų lygių teisų negali būti.
As Srila Prabhupada, just for example, Srila Prabhupada would often point out, in regard to the claim that women and men should have equal rights, he would point out that, well, women have children, men don't. So where's the equality? There's a difference right there. Inherent built-in difference.
Prabhupada dažnai mesdavo iššūkį, kai jam sakydavo, kad apie lygias teisės, pavyzdžiui, vyrų ir moterų, Prabhupada sakydavo, kad moteris gimdo vaikus, vyrai ne, tai kur čia lygybė? Jau čia nėra lygybė.
Why men should make a demonstration? Why don't we have equal rights? Scientists should arrange that we bear children also. Anyway, that's a tangential point. But the fact that there is a sense of right and wrong. Without that, if we say that everything is simply come into being by chance, is nothing but matter, then Hitler didn't do anything wrong, because there's nothing wrong. It's just there's matter is interacting without any reason or cause. So if one combination of chemicals, which is perceived to be one human being, picks up another combination of chemicals, which is called a loaded gun, and shoots another combination of chemicals, which is called another human being, there's nothing wrong, because there is nothing wrong. Of course, the humanists may argue, well, it's not good for the human race if there's if there's no law and order, so we have to have these laws. But what is the meaning of anything being good for the human race? It comes to it's a value judgment, but if asatyam, apratishtam, if it's true that there's no reality or no basis to anything, then there's no meaning in the good of the human race or philanthropy or education or ecology or any of these things which are lauded by humanists. So this is a powerful argument for the existence of an underlying reality. Of course, everything in existence is a powerful argument for the existence of the underlying reality, who is Krishna. Or we could say the impersonal Brahman is the underlying principle of the material cosmos. But then Brahmano hi pratishtaham, the underlying basis of the impersonal Brahman is Krishna. So, any questions about this? Do we have facility for questions to be sent through the internet? People can ask online? Yeah. So, watch and see if any questions come up. Is anyone there watching? 4, yeah. Yesterday was Sunday. It was a good time, but Now is Monday and it's early in the morning in America and it's working time in India.
Bet vakar buvo geras laikas, o šiandien jau pirmadienis rytas ir čia jau Amerikoje rytas dabar labai ankstyvus.
So yeah, any questions about this, please?
Taigi klausimai.
Yes, please.
Koks mokytojo požiūris į Kabalos filosofiją? What is your opinion about Kabbalah philosophy?
Well, whenever people ask me what is my opinion, my rejoinder is that it doesn't matter at all what my opinion is.
Kai žmonės paklausia, koks mano požiūris apie kažką, tai aš atsakau, kad koks mano požiūris tai yra visiškai nesvarbu.
Because who am I? I'm just a tiny little being. So we don't go by opinions, we go by facts as are revealed in Shastra by the Acharyas. Kabbalah philosophy, that's connected with the Judaism, is it? Yeah. I don't know hardly anything about it apart from a conversation I had once on a plane from London to New York with a Jewish man. So what is Kabbalistic philosophy? Can you explain it in a few words? And why the particular interest in that, when there are so many philosophies in the world? Anyway, the thing, there are so many philosophies in the world. And, if we had someone who is highly read in various philosophies, they could maybe give us an overview of them. But I'm quite sure when you say Kabbalistic philosophy, there's not one, there must be various schools within that. So if it recognizes that there is an ultimate reality, the ultimate foundation to everything, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then very good. And then if they can find that is Krishna, that will be better. Otherwise, Dharma projita kaitava atra. This Srimad Bhagavatam rejects all kinds of cheating philosophies and religions. Regarding this, or as a commentary on this, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur made a Bengali couplet. Prithivite jato kata dharma nama chale bhagavata kahe taha paripurna chale. That whatever is spoken of in the world in the name of religion, according to the Bhagavatam, it's all completely cheating. Even Vyasadeva was castigated or rebuked by Narad for having compiled all the Vedas without clearly delineating Vedyam Vastavam, the actual object of knowledge in the Vedas, which is Krishna.
Iš tikrųjų, ne taip iškelti, kad išskyrus Bhagavatam visą kitą, kas yra skelbiama, tai yra budėjimas. Ir net pats Narada, Šila Vyasadeva apibarė, kad jisai išrašė tiek daug vedų, bet ten niekur tiesiog apie Krishną nebuvo.
So we're not interested in philosophy in the way that the few people in the world who claim to be interested in philosophy are. Our approach is different.
Ir mes nesam vieni iš tų žmonių, kurie tiesiog domisi filosofiją, pasaulyje dažnai įprasta.
Most people are interested in philosophy as some kind of intellectual exercise.
Nes dauguma žmonių domisi filosofiją tiesiog kaip tokiu intelekto tobulinimu arba praktika.
They take pleasure in wandering on the intellectual or mental platform.
Jiems suteikia malonumą tas
Intellectual platform.
reiškia skleidimas arba skraidimas intelektiniam lygyje, reiškia mąstymas.
But we are interested in understanding what is the ultimate truth, what is the ultimate basis of everything.
Bet mus domina suprasti, kas yra absoliuti tiesa ir pagrindas viso ko.
From what I could understand, Kabbalism is another kind of mysticism.
Kaip aš suprantu, tai kabalizmas tai yra kita misticizmo forma.
Nothing clear.
Nieko ten, kaip sakant, aiškaus nėra.
Bhagavatam from the very beginning is clear.
O Bhagavatam nuo pat pradžių yra aiškiai kalbama.
Janmadhyasya yataha. The absolute truth is the source of all emanations.
Ten pasakyta, absoliuti tiesa yra viso ko, ką matome šaltinis.
Yatova imani jayanti bhutani yena jatani jivanti yat prayati abhisangvishanti tat vijigyasasva tad brahmeti. This Janmadhyasya yataha is it's a synopsis of the statement in Taittiriya Upanishad describing the ultimate reality.
Ir šitas teiginys yra sinopsė Taittiriya Upanishadui aprašant absoliučią tiesą.
The ultimate truth is that from which everything comes,
Absoliuti tiesa tai yra tai, iš ko viskas kyla,
that in which everything exists,
tai yra tai, kur viskas egzistuoja,
and that into which everything ultimately merges.
ir tai, į kur galiausiai viskas sueina.
That is the proper subject for inquiry.
Ir tai yra tinkami dalykai, apie kuriuos reiktų klausti.
That is the ultimate truth.
Tai yra absoliuti tiesa.
So, Hare Krishna. Should we finish there?
Ar turėtum
No? You have a question?
turi klausimą?
No question? I have a question. Yes, please.
Kadangi gyvenam kalėjime ir tam bepročių reiškia beprotnami, reiškia koks tikslas reiškia studijuoti materialias žinias, kadangi labai laikina. Ar turėtų vaikai mokintis, eiti mokyklos materialias žinias, tai turėtų universitetų studijuoti?
We are living in this world who is full of mad personalities, like you have said, and should devotees' child go to school for material education, school, university, and because all these things are so temporary, should they go for it or not?
It's not really connected to the class, this question.
Ir šitas klausimas, šio klausimo tema nelabai susijusi su paskaitos tema.
Better they get real education in Srimad Bhagavatam,
Geriau jie tegul gauna tikrą išsilavinimą iš Srimad Bhagavatam,
Bhagavad Gita,
Bhagavad Gita,
rather than Darwinism.
negu iš Darwino teorijų.
Yeah, okay.
So is this Mayavadi philosophy is some kind of defensive? The conditioned souls, they are defending themselves.
Mayavad, is it conditioned souls defending themselves against Krishna consciousness?
Mayavados filosofija tai iš esmės yra tam, kad sąlygotų.
Yeah, all so-called philosophy in the world is device by which people will feel satisfied that I'm doing the right thing while they're doing the wrong thing.
Iš tikrųjų, visos tos ateistinės filosofijos, įskaitant ir reiškia pačių, tai yra tam, kad jie galėtų gerai jaustis, darydami blogus dalykus ir prisidengdami tą filosofiją.
It's all hypocrisy.
Viskas apsimetinėjimas.
If everything is meaningless, then why do they have to write books about it and describe it? Why do they feel compelled to do so?
Jeigu niekas neturi prasmės, tai kokia tada prasmė rašyti knygas ir aiškinti, kad niekas neturi prasmės, kas juos skatina?
Everyone is meant for surrendering to Krishna, but if they say, well, there is no Krishna, then there is no ultimate basis, there is no supreme reality, then we don't have to surrender.
Žinom, kad reikia atsiduoti Krishnai, bet jeigu žmogus sako, kad jokio Krishnos nėra, jokios realybės nėra, jokio pagrindo nėra, tai reikia atsiduoti Krishnai, šventė.
Or they will say, there is God and we have to surrender to Him, but hey, you know what? We're all God.
Sako, taip, Dievas yra, reikia atsiduoti, bet žinot, kad mes ir esame visi Dievai.
Which means if you say everyone's God, then there's no meaning to God and there's no meaning to surrender.
Bet jeigu pasakyt, kad visi yra Dievai, tai tada, kad žodis Dievas netenka prasmės ir atsidavimas.
So, people are hypocritical and insincere.
Todėl žmonės yra apsimetėliški ir nenuoširdūs.
Who is that one Greek philosopher? Diogenes. He was going around with a lamp in the daytime.
Vienas graikų filosofas Diogenes.
Yeah, I think that was his name. Sounds like a
Dionysas.
Is it? Sounds like a Lithuanian. He's going around with a lamp in the daytime, which seems like a stupid thing to do.
Jisai vaikščiodavo su lempa vidury dienos, kas atrodė gana kvaila.
So if people would ask him what he was doing, he said, I'm looking for an honest man.
Tai žmonės paklausė, ką čia darai? Tamsta jis pasako, ieškau nuoširdaus žmogaus.
Suggesting that to look for an honest man is as absurd as going around with a lamp in the daytime.
Turėdamas omeny tai, kad ieškoti nuoširdaus žmogaus tai yra taip pat kvaila, kaip ir arba absurdiška, kaip ir vidury dienos su lempa vaikščioti.
I guess he thought he himself was honest.
Turbūt jis galvoja, kad jis pats yra nuoširdus.
Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Please study this Bhagavad Gita as it is very carefully. And Srimad Bhagavatam. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.